And then we have motivation. Motivation are two kinds, are internal and external. Internal motivation, meaning what comes from inside. For example, I'm an intrinsic person, meaning I get satisfied by achieving things. I don't wait for someone to pat me on the back and say, oh, you're good. I don't need that. But there are other people that need actually external motivation. There is no right or wrong. It's just a different personality, right? Or someone that needs to be paid higher or need to get better certificate or whatever it is. That's what we call external. Motivation is actually from within yourself. And you need to align who you are inside with the outside. Who believes in this room that they are 100% aligned with who they are inside with the outside? 70%. 50%. Okay, that's a good start. That's a great start. Remember, that's the half full glass. Seriously, you know, I'm a Libra. I'm very optimistic. So, so it's just about like we have another Libra here. So Libra. Who's Libra? Who else is Libra? Sisterhood. Awesome. So practice positive thinking, and we can control our positive thinking. You know what? I remember a couple of weeks ago, I was having a horrible morning. Horrible. And then I was driving, and I was like, kind of like already angry and stuff. And I started, okay, let's talk about that. In my mind, I promise it's the truth. Let's talk about that. How many things you have good in your life? Name 5. So I started naming 5 things that are good in my life. And they were huge things, right? And I'm like, seriously? You are upset because you had like a tire that needed some air? Because your dog didn't want to go to the kennel? You know, it's just like people really have problems, but you keep focusing on the negative and forget all the positive thinking that you have. There is something in life that we call gratitude. I'm sure you all heard about it. Who has a gratitude journal? Beautiful. Whoever doesn't have it, I would highly suggest to do it. The first thing you open your eyes is to think at least about 3 things and write them down. Don't just think about them. 3 good things that are in your life. Every day, write other 3 things. On Sunday, at the end of the week, look at these things and see how blessed you are. And this way, it starts your week with even more positivity. And when you are positive, your productivity is going to be high. Productivity is all about psychology and how you feel about yourself. So when you start with positivities, this is what you have. We all put all the excuses why we shouldn't do things while we actually can do them. You know, but we start, you know, we somehow go into that victim mode. You know what Stephen Jobs called victimitis? You know, where we are a victim, you know, where we are just like, oh, poor me, I need to have more money, I need to have more education, I need to have more resources, I need to have more support. All this, even if you have them and you still have fear, you will not get anything. So you can start with all that. And, you know, my suggestion to you, this is what I did, this is what a lot of successful people have done, is jump both feet first. Believe it or not, things will come to you. You know what they say? They say, you don't need to see the top of the stairs to start taking the first step. So don't wait to see the last step to start making the first step. So that's motivation. And then we have knowledge and self-development, knowing that your whole life is a learning experience. Whenever you stop learning, you basically die inside. So know that your whole life is a learning journey. And also we talked about knowledge and self-management, knowing your strong points, knowing what you can help you to move to the next level. Okay, now we're going to talk about the neuroscience. Do we know that our brain is actually 3 brains put together? Do we know that? It's called the triune brain. And the first person that really talked about that is Dr. Paul MacLean. So this is how the brain is. We have what we call the reptilian brain, which is the first part of the brain that started with the lizards and the snakes, you know, and the caveman. And then we have another part of the brain that is called the mammalian. And then the neocortex is only human beings have it. So it's like this. Imagine this is your hand, right? The part here is your reptilian brain, okay? This is your reptilian brain, the first part, or the caveman part, like we call it, has to do with feelings. Has to do with feelings, with fear, with food, and free reproduction. This is the mammalian or the limbic one, and it goes like this. So it covers the first part, and it has to do mainly with more emotions and also memory. And this is the third part of the brain. It's what we call neocortex. It's what we have here. And that's what differentiates the human being from anybody else. So this is in a very simple format, right? So neocortex is basically here is the part, the thinking part of the brain. And why sometimes you say, my heart feels it, but my brain doesn't agree, right? Why? Because yes, there are three brains, but they don't necessarily work together. The first part is physical, the second part is emotional, and the third part is logical. There is always a conflict, and when there is a conflict in our brain that we don't know about, what happens is that our productivity is going to go down. Because we don't know which part we can basically accommodate, or which part we can work with. And we're going to understand in a second. You know, the reptilian part is also the part that has fight or flight. And this is the alarm system in our brain. That's why most of our reactions are first either huge anger or huge happiness, you know, because it hijacks, it's like the alarm, it hijacks all the feelings from the brain. So let's understand why is that important in our productivity. Like I said, the first and second part of the brain is what we consider unconscious mind. And the third part is the conscious mind. The unconscious mind, how people think that they're doing affirmations to help build their resilience. We say, I'm not going to smoke anymore. I'm not going to smoke anymore. I'm not going to smoke anymore, right? Or I'm not going to eat sweets anymore. I'm not going to eat sweets anymore. And you know what? The conscious and unconscious, the unconscious does not differentiate between positive and negative. So when you keep saying, I'm not going to smoke anymore, all what it hears is smoke. So it transmits to your actually logical to make it happen to smoke more. That's why you don't stop. So you need the first part of great productivity is start thinking about what you want to do, not what you don't want to do. Is it clear?
Yes.
Is it clear? Am I clear? So you need to think actually about what you don't say, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, and you're thinking that you're doing affirmations. They're not going to work because all what your unconscious hears is the no, and this is what they're going to go through. So instead of saying, I don't want to eat sweets, say, for example, I'm losing weight. Or not even I'm losing weight, healthier. A positive thing where your body can actually, it's part of the visualization, but you need to have a positive visualization going through. It's the power of positive thinking. It's like instead of telling someone, for example, don't speed, you tell them drive carefully. Is it the same thing or not? But you're not using not or no. Try to remove not, no, but, though, could, should, would, shouldn't, couldn't from your vocabulary. Seriously, it will change your whole chemistry in your brain, and you are going to have more positive emphasis on what you do and your productivity. Habits, are the habits. The habits are actually done in 30 days. So there are chunks of 10 days. The first 10 days, as you see, if this is the level, it will actually go down because there is huge resistance in the beginning. So the first 10 days it will go down, the next 10 days it starts to go up, and the last 10 days it's actually installed. But we need to persevere for these 30 days because if we give up in the middle, we have to restart from the beginning. It's about doing the same things in the same way. There is actually a name for it in science that we're going to talk about it in our presentation here. And we need to remember that the brain muscle is a muscle like your biceps. You build strength. Exercising it is like exercising your biceps in the same way. The brain is a muscle that you can actually grow. So the habits are actually patterns. So it's like paved ways and streets in your brain, and the beauty of our brain is it can actually change. They found out there is a new science, they call it neuroplasticity. And that what happened is that even people that have multiple sclerosis and people that were paralyzed, they found a way that they can actually move now. using the power of neuroplasticity. It's like, you know, the bypass surgeries where they cut in a place and they connect in another place? That's what the brain can do actually now in a very simplified way. Every new cell can network with at least 15,000 other cells. So it will create networks. So the more habits that you do, the more these cells work, the more they connect with themselves, the more pavement of new streets in your brain they do. And that's how habits start. Productivity is a habit. So if you learn how to start being productive in the morning, it will take you 30 days from not being productive to be productive. And I'm not just telling you that as a theory, I did it myself. You know, I'm an owner of actually two small businesses, you know, and I had to bring myself from the chaotic day, like, oh my God, I'm working 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, to actually work mainly from 8, actually I wake up at 5, so let's say 5 to 4, and I have my weekends to me. So I still have my life. So I have productivity in these hours. But how? By creating the habits. The habits happen by what we call intentional repetitions. Intentional repetitions meaning that you do the same thing over and over and over again till you get a habit. Yeah. Even we can train even our little children, right? We can train them to walk or to talk. How do we train a child to talk? Repeating over and over and over and over again till their brain actually retains it. That process never goes away. We still have it, but we need to use it. These are the habits, how they are produced. It's by what we call muscle memory, and you do that through your willpower. So you have a willpower that creates energy, that repetition, that creates habits. It's a chain reaction. Yes?
Sahar, I'm sorry I interrupted you. I am very positive, like you said. I have great ideas, and I wake up my morning and it's life around you. It's your husband, it's your children, and yeah, you want to do that, but it's some little things that does not let you sometimes do that. And these 30 days start again tomorrow, and start again tomorrow, and start again. How to deal with that?
How old are your children?
My children are big, already grown up, but my son lives with me, and my fiancé with me. They all have piece of me.
Boundaries. Boundaries. Creating boundaries. You know, it's about everybody knowing their role. And they're going to resist you in the beginning. And they're going to think like, what's wrong with you? And how could you do this to me? And they're going to let you feel shame. And they're going to let you feel guilty. And they're going to let you feel like you're doing something wrong. But you know what? If you do not, and I say this all the time, if you do not take care of yourself, you cannot take care of anybody else. And it's not about being selfish, and it's not about being self-centered. But unless you're strong enough to do whatever you want, you will be miserable. You will be unhappy. And inside of your mind, you're going to always blame them that they did not enable you to get to your dreams. So either or, your relationship will be somehow not very healthy. So you need to have boundaries. And I'm going to talk about routines that we need to do. Remember the exercise that we just started with? If you do this, the minute you hit the floor from your bed, it takes, what, 3-4 minutes? But if you have it as a habit, if you do it constantly for 30 days, it becomes a habit. You are already empowering your body. You know how many times we go like this? Okay, let me have my coffee. You know, and then we get the coffee, we get a rush, and then we go down again. Or we get a sugar rush, and we go down again. Because we are not presenting our body with the nutrients that it needs to be productive. So we're going to talk about routines in a little bit. And I can talk to you one-on-one after that. So it's about the energy and the willpower. So remember, we have to have energy, to have the willpower, to create repetition, intentional repetition, and the intentional repetition creates muscle memory. The muscle memory creates habits. So it's just a chain that you can't even really break in the middle. So are the three, in order for us to understand what we're going to be talking about, the very old part of the brain is the physical. So we're going to talk about body physiology. That's why we talk about oxygen and about exercise and about all that. The second part is the mammalian or emotional, and it has to do with your psychology, your passion, and how you interact with others, and how do you see yourself. How many identities do we have? A mother, a girl, a daughter, a sister, a neighbor, a churchgoer, a professional, a student. You know, we have so many identities that we get even confused ourselves, and we don't know even, like, you want to cater to your husband or your fiance, you can cater to your children, you know, but you still want to be an entrepreneur, you still want to be a professional. All these identities kind of clash together, and that's why we need to have boundaries for each one of them. And then the neocortex, or the logical brain, is about basically your purpose in life.